Hello and welcome YouTube to another tutorial in Bukkit development. Today's one is going to be quite simple, is just a quick overview of iConomy. It will not be as long as Essentials was, and I just want to get this one in order. I'm going to be doing an order of plugins. First two were Essentials and iConomy. Next I'm doing World Edit and World Guard. And after that, I will be doing permissions with Group Manager. And forgive my computer as it likes to change the theme every time I start a video. Anyway, continuing on, we are going to be looking at iConomy. In the last video, I had asked you to download it. If you have not, that's quite okay. I have put a link to it in the description, but for now I'm going to be deleting all this essential stuff as we don't need it for this tutorial. Plugin metrics might actually generate again, and that's okay. It just tends to happen, but we can start iConomy with the start.batch, and actually I would like to recover some of those iConomy files now that I think about it, because they go hand in hand with iConomy. So let me delete a few of these essentials files. So I only have the essentials main file. So that sounds good. And now we can start the server. Alright, so the server is just going to run through the normal console program and be ready very soon. And while that is loading, we can look at the iConomy configuration. If we go here and we right click on it and click edit with Notepad++, we are brought up with the configuration file. Let me just close the other ones. Here we go. So this is kind of the way iConomy works. You have a currency, and the major, which is, for example, the 1 in $1 and cents, would be set as dollars. And the minor, which is the after the decimal, as for example 0.23, would be labeled as coin. So here's the default account balance, which is $30 and 0 cents. This can be changed to anything you'd like, for example $65, but as default I'm going to leave it at 30. Here's the formatting for the minor things, for minor amounts of money. If you really need to use it, I suggest you don't. And also, I suggest you don't use separate or single. Really, formatting should be left blank unless you really need to change it. And then there's logging. Logging can use a log to a text file or something along the lines of that. I suggest keeping it as false because you don't need it unless you really need to keep track of all transactions through iConomy. And then there's purge's default balance at loading. So this pretty much means if someone has an account of $30, then it will purge it. And purge means it deletes the account. And this is good if you don't have much space on your hard drive and you have tons of players on your server, and you don't want all the players who haven't been making any transactions really to have any money because their accounts are set to the default level of $30. So really, it's actually very smart to turn purging on, and as default it is on. And then there's interest if you're interested in an interest system. And then there's a database, and this is with MySQL. You really don't need to mess with this unless you know how MySQL works. It just pretty much keeps track of all your money and things like that, but right now you don't need to worry about that. So let's save it and close. And the server has started up, and we can minimize this. Here's accounts.mini. Inside of this, you'll actually find just the player's name, their balance, and their status, which really doesn't get changed very often. But the balance is right here. You can actually change it if you'd like, kind of to mess with players if you really don't want them to have that much money, or something along the lines of that. But I'll just keep mine at balance 30 because that's what I have. And then here's a template.yml. Inside the template.yml is just a bunch of stuff you don't need to worry about. It's pretty much all how messages work for like payment and something like pay, buy, sell, etc. And so that's the configuration, and we can join the server here, and we can do direct connect and join localhost. And once we are logged in, I'll show some commands for iConomy. Though it seems to be taking, there we go. Okay, so here are some commands for iConomy. If you would like to set a player's balance, you can do /money set and then the player name. For example, my name would set my and then I have to enter some money. I could set it to $50, and then it would set my balance to $50. I can also do money take walk 2222 20, I think that is. And you can take money from other players. Now these are op commands right here. Normal players will not be able to use this, but you can change that with permissions, which we will get into later on. But as of now, you don't need to worry about that. So that's pretty much a simple example on how to use iConomy. There's also many commands which you can view from /help iConomy. And there's here's some. The command list for iConomy is actually very simple, so I would suggest using the online reference. But many of these work, and some don't. I'm very confused as to why the help section does not really make sense, but that's okay. I would just highly suggest using the online reference, which I will also link in the description. But as of now, those are some simple ways to use iConomy. And before I go, I'd like to introduce you to buy signs. And you can access them by going to a sign, dropping one in your inventory, and making a buy sign. If you write buy, actually, I don't think this will work right now because we have not enabled it in the configuration. So let's do this. Let's go to Plugins, Essentials, config.yml, edit with Notepad++. Now if we look in here, we can try and find the buy sign. Here they are, enabled signs. You can click by deleting the hashtag nearby and sell. Now what these are simple ways to buy and sell items through like a store, for example, with iConomy linked. So if I close this and go to the console and type reload, this will reload every plugin. And if I go here into Minecraft and do buy 10 log $1.20, I think it is. There we go. What this is it will allow you to buy, for this example, 10 logs for $20. So if I right click the sign, it will take away $20 from my account but grant me 10 logs. And this can also be used interchangeably with sell signs. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope you guys got something out of it. I will talk to you later.